It's time for some madness.
I like the surrealness of the music.
Right? Right?
Pretty well.
Yeah, like you have to have the right music. Like the X-Files has the right music.
Yeah, this would not do with a hard rock theme.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The Dukes of Hazzard have the right music.
Mm-hmm.
The CRoM Files has the right music. It's all about setting the mood, and I agree. It's good. It's a good tone.
So, quick before we get started, did you get to add your destinations?
I did not. I will add.
I tried to add it for you, but it wouldn't let me. But
It will not let me. It will not let me add now.
It won't.
No. Oh, there it is. Thank you. I'll add. Hey, CRoM Files.
There you go.
Hey, CRoM.
Yeah, it's going to be a heck of a day today. I figured we get these started. This might be the new time for it because that's easier for everybody. Plus, we'll have more people watching in general during the day than at BFE at night,
Yeah, way better. Way better. I didn't say that out loud. I didn't.
I'm not super exhausted at 12:30 at night doing these.
Not at all. Not at all.
What?
Even Lorena was like, "Yes, thank goodness that you are not doing it at."
That was a put down moment. But yeah, there was one gentleman though who would run all night long, as Shawn Michaels would say, and that is the man we're here to tribute today. That is Mr. Art Bell.
Art Bell.
Yeah.
I have, I have a little bit of history with Art Bell. Not.
Did you elbow drop?
Like if you're an Air Force guy, you know Art Bell because he's a name in the Air Force analogs.
Mm-hmm.
And what he did with the Air Force setting up, we'll talk about that. But if you're an Air Force, that's I have that history. But a lot of the time I was deployed and I didn't get, they're not going to play a lot of his stuff on. Believe it or not, they're not going to play a lot of his stuff on the Armed Forces Network and things like that. So we're just getting top 40 music and whatever's tops in the top 10 TV shows at the time. That's about all we get.
Yeah, and we will get into why.
True.
especially with his dedicated phone line, but I don't want to get too far ahead. Yeah, he was out before we had anything like YouTube, before we had anything streaming. There was no somebody out pushing you like an algorithm. It was just this guy sitting in his double wide trailer at home, what he called the high desert of the Kingdom of Nye, because it was Nye County in Nevada. And this guy just managed to capture millions upon millions of people because, he created something that people were looking for. Yeah, that's the kingdom right there.
I think there was an episode of Supernatural where Sam and Dean are running. They're always running, but they end up running into a guy who runs sort of kind of the same thing.
Yep.
And I honestly think that was a tribute to Art Bell in that episode where he's a conspiracy supernatural theorist and not so much conspiracy theorist, but more into the supernatural, looking for signs of supernatural life. So I believe Supernatural did do a tribute episode to Art Bell. I just wanted to throw that little gee whiz out there.
Yeah. Well, coincidentally, one of my other favorite shows back in the many moons ago in the last century was the X-Files.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure the Lone Gunmen were a tribute to Art Bell because Chris Carter was a known guest on Coast to Coast. I don't have proof, but I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah, it definitely would make sense. Yeah, I agree. Like I feel like the guy the who was it, the old ball headed guy, the
Broiky.
old, yeah, I think he was like the Art Bell, if you
He was
will.
the analog. Yep, that's the way I
analog.
took it too. Yeah, and never meant as an insult.
Nope.
And it was done. It was done in pure respect for the guy. But yeah, he was born June 17th, 1945, and that's why we wanted to do that this week, is because this is the week that he was born. Now he did unfortunately pass, and we'll talk about that. But he started off pretty. This guy knew what he was doing. And that's got to be established early because, as you said, he was in Air Force,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And he always loved the tech stuff. He was always into radio technology. He was always into broadcasting. And isn't that what he did there?
Yeah, he well, I can't remember his exact MOS, but or AFC as we called it. But I that's just the job title.
Okay.
They're like I was a 3POX1. That was my title, my number designator. I don't remember what his AFC was, but I do believe it was something in technology in the tech field with him.
They said he did basic training at Lackland Air Force Base.
That's where everybody does. Everybody does at Lackland, which is San Antonio. And then they'll head off to their different whatever your AFC is. You'll go to, like, I stayed in San Antonio because that's where my tech school was. Some will go to Chicago or Illinois, or some will go to other places in South Carolina, Texas. It just depends on what base had the facilities to accommodate. So, like, I know a lot of the firefighters went to Chanute, which was in Illinois. Chanute Air Force Base before it closed down. But like for the law enforcement, I was in, we stayed at Lackland.
Now he was only in for 4 years.
Yeah.
I say only, but still 4 years is 4 years.
4 years is 4 years.
He ran a pirate radio station, putting out, like you said, the top 40s, the big hits. It was initially approved of. Hey, go ahead, do what you got to do. But when other big radio stations around found out that he was doing this, they made a fuss and ordered it to get shut down.
Yeah.
But it was the start. It was the start of the career. And that's
he's one of the first shock jocks.
Yeah.
Sorta, not well. Yeah, shock jock, talk radio.
Talk radio hosts.
Talk radio. Well, not one of the first, but
yeah.
I would put him in. Would you put him in shock jock, or would you put him more in? I don't know.
I wouldn't say shock because he's not out trying to do like the Howard Stern thing.
Yeah, he's not the Howard Stern thing.
Right. It was more controversial topics.
More Rush Limbaugh then.
Yeah.
So more Rush. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Rush.
More Rush. I feel like that yeah. We need a sound bite for that, please. Somebody. More Rush.
Yep. I need to get one of those stream decks where we can just hit the buttons and do that.
Yeah. One of these days we'll make billions of dollars and we'll be able to afford all the cool gadgets that we want.
That's right. Let's get above 4. Let's get above 4 watchers and we'll do that.
Laser beams. We want laser beams coming at us out of us or something.
Now
we're definitely going to be there one day, ladies and gentlemen.
My God. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. You're going to be like, I really wish I would have been there in those early days.
Early days.
Like Lou. You want to
be
like
Lou? Ah, Lou.
See? Earlier in the day, more people can talk to us. That's what we want.
Lou, have you ever heard of Art Bell?
I think it's her third cousin or something. Yeah.
Lou is Art Bell, your third cousin. Tell us the stories.
I heard about your family tree, which we're going to definitely be getting into.
Yes, we got a few on.
Honestly, surprised. I was surprised.
Interesting, is it not? I mean, that's what
it explains a lot.
It does. Explains a lot on both of ours. No,
Word.
I'm not gonna get it. No, yeah, she's really good at doing the deep dive research. So
yeah,
she's really good at that.
Now, Art did. How do I want to say this? He did something that I will never recommend anybody doing. Art Bell, not just Art.
Art Bell. Art Bell.
And he actually did a broadcast for 5 days and nights straight without sleep. Now, if you know anything about psychology, as I do, it's that's in the dangerously close to losing your mind territory.
Yeah.
But he does have a world record for staying on air for 115 hours and 15 minutes.
Wow.
Something he'll never do again.
Well, yeah, I hope not. I mean, I stayed at the longest I ever stayed was 3 days, 3 nights.
Mm.
And that was I had to. It wasn't voluntary. It wasn't because I wanted to. It was because I had to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing, but I don't know if I would ever, because it's like 7 or 7 days. You need to have sleep within 7 days, right?
Or something. You could die.
Yeah, you could die. Like you absolutely need it because your body will shut down or whatever. Man, was he all by himself when he did this?
That I don't know. It didn't say. It just said he stayed on air, and that was again before he had the coast to coast with millions and millions watching.
Right.
So I mean, this is dedicated to doing what you love. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he also did a really weird one, which I just thought it was odd. The world record he set, the second one, for the longest continuous broadcast while seesawing. Now, I admittedly had no idea that was even a category in the Guinness Book of World Records. But 57 hours is the time to beat if you decide you want to go out and give that a shot. I know, right? Yeah. So if we get a seesaw, we'll try to do CRoM files or just some kind of broadcast for 58 hours while
58 hours. Let's do it. Somebody get us a seesaw. Somebody get us in the bear suits. In the bear suits with a seesaw for 58 hours. We'll do it if you can get us the big enough seesaw.
That's right.
I would totally do that though.
Yeah.
So his whole, before we get into where he was going, so it was more of a just political type thing, or was it just daily life that he was talking about on the radio for these records or whatnot?
Yeah, initially for like the first 20 years he was doing this, he was just a rock radio host. You know what I mean? The standard.
Yeah.
But then he went on to do his own in late 70s is what I'm going to say.
Okay.
And it was a political talk show. So he wanted to do, talk politics. It wasn't until 10 years later they renamed it Coast to Coast AM, where it was filmed out of or shown out of the home that we're seeing here. But yeah, so at first that's all it was. So what could have possibly happened? Do we know that might have changed that?
He obviously had a supernatural experience. There was definitely something supernatural. I mean, not that I'm going to praise these, but like if you go back to the reason we start something is because something happened to us.
Yes. Yeah.
So you have the Zach. I'm not going to say his name. You have the ghost. The supernatural, the ghost hunters, the things like that. They've had something in their life where they want to go out and explore more. We could take it with the Bigfoot hunters or the something happened in our life that steers us down that path. So he had a supernatural occurrence in his life, and knowing where he lives and
Mhm.
where I call it his home compound, whatever you want to call it, it's not above plausibility.
Yeah, he like you said, he was talking about a lot of just political stuff at first, and one of the things that really changed it was in '95, which really I graduated 2 years before then. Um, it was the Oklahoma City bombing,
Yeah.
which took it from let's talk about politics to let's talk about what's really going on, and that's when it started leaning more towards the conspiracies and the paranormal.
Well, you're going to get more. I think you're going to get more traction because of things. I mean, whether it was the Oklahoma City bombing or a year prior with the Waco incident with David Koresh and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, radio guys are no different than YouTubers or TikTokers or things like that. They're going to talk about what is going to give them the most traction.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and it was
go ahead.
it definitely worked because he got into like 500 different radio stations, had millions upon 15, 20 million viewers at a time, or listeners, I should say, not viewers. What the heck am I thinking of? I know we already have that 15 million on here. It's just the live viewer count doesn't go that high.
It doesn't go that high. We don't get
no.
we have 47 million watching right now.
Yeah, we got to calm them down a bit. Yeah.
So, like I said, obviously, it's because we've talked about this on all the other on. It's because we want to believe, or just like the X-File says, you want to believe. And how many, so that I think that works for him. That works in his case because we are human beings and we want to be able to explain the unexplainable.
Sure.
If we can explain the unexplainable, then there's nothing we have to fear, or B, we can categorize it in something in our brain, whether we need to put it over in this filing cabinet or this filing cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why you do, or why we do what we do. Even not even just this show, but our creative shows and things like that. So
let me ask you, what do you think was one of the biggest strengths of this kind of a show? Because it didn't have the ability for an algorithm to push it because a few people started watching. It didn't have corporate money behind it, obviously. How do you think something like this grew from a talk radio or even the rock radio thing to 15 million, 20 million people listening at a time?
It's again, I think it goes back to it, the topics that we're discussing or he's discussing. So the topics is at number one. Whether you believe or don't believe, you're going to tune in. Sometimes you have more hate watchers than you do.
But yeah, we got those.
Than you do actual people. But you're still drawing in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the topics. I think it's the way that he could discuss them. Like, it's no different than, so some of the YouTubers that we talk about behind in the backstage area, or when we're chit chatting, of who we like to listen to, is because we're drawn in and we have a connection with them, or
right.
I think the majority of the ones that we listen to are in the, they're not going to sit there and go, it's definitely this or it's definitely this. They're going to either try to debunk or they're going to try to feed it to us where it's not as harsh, if that makes, if anybody's following what I'm talking about. So I think he's the same way. I'm not necessarily saying he's because we already established he's not a shock jock. Why I went to that in the beginning in the first place, trying to set a little of a tone here. So foreshadowing. Thank you. That's a good word. So he's got a voice, A, you can listen to, B, he's talking the topics, and I think he makes it interesting enough because again, I think it all boils down to we want to be able, whether it's politics, whether it's listening to the country music on the radio, or what we're getting ready to dive into here, we all want to be able to explain and relate in some way or some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he can grow a larger audience. And plus, by the time you yes, exactly. It's exactly what he's. Well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, yeah. You might have had less choice. In '95, I don't think when all this started, I don't think we had as much, or we didn't have less choices. I think you had, because you had Rush at that time. You had a lot of, at this point in '95, you have a lot of talk radio, because we're hitting that precipice of going into YouTube and going into streaming. So I think you had a lot of people still out there. But good, that's an excellent point, Lou.
Well, what I
And I
liked
think
about his is that he didn't come across as the ultimate authority. It was
right.
more of a conversation. Like, and this is why I like a lot of the people that I listen to. They may not be the biggest, they may not be the best, but it always feels like I'm having a conversation with the person on the other side.
They're not
And you
talking
could
down to you. They're not.
exactly. And he had a phone line anybody could call into. He wasn't. He didn't insult the people that called in, even if he didn't believe them. It was just the way it was, and it was, again, it felt more like just sitting around telling stories to your friends. You know, that's just the way I always saw it, anyway.
Right. Now, and I think that's what we do on this show as well. I don't. We're
Mm-hmm.
not. We're when we talk about the, like, we debunk what we debunk,
Mm-hmm.
and we say, I don't think we've ever definitively said anything that, yes, like, we know what we feel,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that we have a feeling, but I obviously I can't say that there's these things and these things and these things if I've never seen them. I know what I
Right.
feel, and I think a lot of times I'm kind of on that line, where I want, I want to be able to explain the unexplainable, not
Mm-hmm.
just to prove I'm right, but to explain it to me, because I think I have a very investigative mind, and I want to, and maybe it's not a healthy thing, maybe it's not a good thing. My wife might say that, where I want to be able to have an explanation, because I want to be able to understand it. Why do we believe in, or why do people believe in ghosts, or why do people believe in cryptids, and why do
Yeah.
people? Yes, exactly. Lou, you're on point today.
And,
Lou is on point.
and you never really knew who the caller was going to be, and that's kind of one of the things that was always cool about it. You get all different kinds of people calling in, from the average everyday person. Which, again, I've been on shows, on these kind of shows, YouTube stuff, where people will comment, and the hosts ignore it. You know, and that's one thing he wouldn't do, is he wouldn't just ignore the callers or ignore anything coming in. He would give them time to speak. And it wasn't just normal people. I mean, he had Willie Nelson. I have here George Carlin. We already mentioned Chris Carter of the X-Files. Leonard Nimoy, Dan Aykroyd was on it. And there's a little known guy that was on there by the name of Joe Rogan. You might have heard of him.
You might have heard of him.
Yeah, he called it.
It's like Lou said, I think you're wanting to be entertained,
Mm-hmm.
and still be informed.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of the best ones do. And I hope we do it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I hope we inform. I mean, I think it's, as the old saying, curiosity killed the cat. I don't know about that, but we are curious, as humans. We are curious to know, is there multiple Earths? Is there the string theory? There's all that stuff. I just find it curious.
Went to the moon. Speaking of curious, what topic would have made you call in?
Ooh. I mean, pre. I
Whatever
don't
you
know.
want.
That's a good question.
Because again, back then we didn't have internet sharing,
Right.
things like that. If we wanted to know anything about it, this was one of the ways we'd know. We would call into a place like this, put our question out there, and usually the audience would have hopefully answers or directions to lead us.
Well, during the like we said, during the research and you sharing your awesome script that we run by, or I say the awesome script that he makes, and sometimes I intentionally and unintentionally
We cliff
divert us
notes
from.
it. We cliff notes it. It's good enough.
I think, because we talked about the Oklahoma City bombing. He probably, he said he changed right after that. He probably went into discussing things. That probably because I am an Oklahoman. That probably would have been my first call to understand.
Yeah.
We lost a lot. We lost 178 people and men, women, and children.
Children. Yeah.
And I guess it would be, my first call would have been why.
Yeah.
To call in and why, whether he gave me a legit reason and or just to talk about it to comfort, I think, which is something he would have done, by the way. I think that would have been my first call. Would have been right after the Oklahoma City bombing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, Lou brought up a good point, which is why we keep her around for that kind of thing.
Yes, that's why we keep her around.
She said that it was the callers, the unique callers that made people want to tune in and listen. He had a lot of them, a lot of really interesting callers. One of them was the Area 51 caller, and please tell me you heard of that one.
I have heard of that one. Yes, that was what?
Freaky.
Yeah, that was not. That was. Well, I say not too long. I'm still stuck that like 90s were 10 years ago. So
Well, yeah, September 11th, 1997.
Yeah. So to me, that's not that long ago. But it wasn't.
Right.
It was a long
Me
time
either.
ago. But 97.
So
yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, in that one, we were talking earlier about how after Oklahoma City things changed a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had a dedicated phone line. Well, one line for normal callers, and a dedicated phone line just for government style callers. And if you were calling on that line, it was a guarantee you got through. No screening, no anything. You were pulled through. Well, this guy gets on, and normally people are like, "Yeah, I heard this, Area 51, or I heard this, Roswell. I heard this. Well, this guy was apparently freaked out, like almost hyperventilating, clearly terrified, and said he was a former Area 51 employee. He said NBEs, or non-biological entities, or aliens, as they want to say, existed. The government knew about them. But that wasn't weird because, well, people would call in about that kind of stuff all the time, right?
UFOs, all that, yeah.
Exactly. So what made this one weird is during that call, as he was about to do a reveal, the call cut off. Now, I know what you're thinking, because I was thinking the same. Oh, you mean the phone shut down? No, the entire satellite feed cut off. Somebody jacked into the satellite feed and shut it down. So it wasn't something that would usually happen. Let's put it that, because he knew what he was doing.
Right. He'd been on, he'd been on the air for a long enough now that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's talked. Oh, well, I don't know if he's talked as in depth as this call was.
Right.
But he talked wilder things.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I'm getting at. He talked wilder things and had wilder stuff on his radio show that probably could have been cut off. He could have been cut off numerous times.
Yep.
So yes, that was when we were discussing it a couple weeks ago. That was where I went did more in-depth dive on this, and It's not. I don't think it is coincidence. I don't
I
think it
I
is.
don't I it is kind of weird because I mean this is a geostationary satellite that just happened to have the signal cut from it. What it did do though was it made that segment one of the most replayed ever. Now again, I couldn't just take a clip, right, off of YouTube. Like then it was sent around on cassette tapes.
Yeah.
For those that are not old enough to remember what cassette tapes are, get a history book.
We didn't even have WAV files at that. Well, we might have had WAV files. But
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I know I didn't have internet back
I
then.
don't think we had WAV files just yet.
Yeah. And then a couple weeks later, after this thing started circulating to again, I would give you the tape, you would record it, a copy of it,
Yeah.
send it off to
Send it
somebody
on
else,
the
and we would just keep doing that. That's how it spread. But a couple weeks after that, a guy called in to Art and said that it was the same guy, but the voice, the mannerisms, everything was off. He was completely calm, said, "Sorry, man, it was just a hoax. I made it all up." But it didn't seem or sound like the same guy. In fact, even Art Bell didn't believe him. That's how bad this guy's I don't want to say impression, but or his mannerisms and things were.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, do tell, do tell.
Yep. I'm trying to find, because I know, as God is my witness, I know somewhere I had the recording of the actual audio. It was right here. Did you ever have that? It was right here.
Somebody took it from us.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I think they hacked me, man. I think they got me. Leonard Nimoy. There's that. Click on this. Allow.
In somewhere 22,000 miles above the Earth, a satellite that failed could fail once again. So the next time your phone call drops, the next time your internet
If
cuts
this
out
is
for no
the-
reason, don't assume it's a glitch. That's way too much. The audio is still out there. You can listen to all of it right now. The fear in that man's voice is real, or it's the greatest performance in radio history. And somewhere,
I know I had it. It was on there. I just can't.
this happened.
I
Similar,
can't
but
find. All right, I'll have to look for it again. I thought that's the one it was, but it wasn't. Did I just freeze?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, because my tabs entirely froze. I swear to God, I'm not making that up. Yeah, everything else froze. It's freaking. I'm telling you.
Are you? I got you. I got you.
Okay.
I believe the call was a hoax, but the satellite part was real. Someone thought he had info. I mean, the thing is, you believe that the Area 51 part was a hoax, and that it just happened to be that the satellite part did go down just during that phone call.
Yeah, I told you.
I got you fine, but it may be because we're on the.
Yeah. Hey, there's Nem. Why the heck didn't you come in here? Well, I hope you're feeling better anyway.
I don't see Nem.
He did a heart. Yeah, he did one of the hearts. Yep.
Ah, hello, Nem.
Yeah.
I mean,
There we go. I think I'm back.
yeah, you're good.
They must have fixed the satellite. But...
Yeah, the satellite is fixed again. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to define. It's hard to define hoax.
Right. And again, this is just one call. You know what I mean? And that this one call has been. Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this, Lou, because I'm so happy that you're on with us today. Do you believe in aliens? Do you believe in extraterrestrial life, and things like that? Or are we just the small little melting pot of Earth that we are, and there's nothing else out there?
Mm-hmm. Still think it's freaky, man. Either way, it's a weird answer. Whether we are the only thing or whether we're not, it's equally frightening.
Right.
Yep.
I think it's maybe call me crazy if you want. I think it's more frightening that we're the only ones than it is more frightening that there's the possibility of something else out there. I'm going to say she believes in aliens. That's what I want to hear. No, I'm just kidding. Does it either way? It's all good whether you do or don't. I think it's scarier to believe that we are the only one sometimes than writing about them for a comic. Yeah. Yep. I don't know. Maybe it's because I think this goes back to me wanting an explanation for the unexplained. I mean, maybe I can call it a hoax when I know it's a hoax. Like I'll call it a hoax when it's a hoax, but
like there was a gentleman, and I won't give his name because I don't know if he'd want me to, in our area, and there was a big time ghost story, and I don't even want to say it because it'll lead to him. But anyway, this thing was prolific. Like he would go into the woods and scream and carry on and
it's me, ladies and gentlemen, it's me.
Yeah, he'd make a big production of it, and for years it was believed that this entity thing was real. Turns out, till he admitted it later, oh yeah, I absolutely think we are a prison planet. We were deposited here and either forgotten about, or the things that are supposed to be monitoring us in the hollow moon have long since passed.
The lizard people.
Now, one of the next guests, hosts, blah, 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 Mel Waters. If you've never heard of Mel Waters, he was a caller that called in about a strange, seemingly bottomless pit on his property. It was really weird. He dropped a weighted line down, and it went over. Now, what's a kilometer to mile ratio? Because I'm an American, I don't know those things.
A kilometer is a little longer, I believe.
No,
a kilometer is 1,000, where a mile is like one.
It's 5,722 feet, something like that.
Right. Well, it's 5,000 something. So, because if you have 4 laps around a track is 4,000 meters, or no, 400 meters.
Yeah.
Is that right? No, 400, 800, 1,200, 1,600. So a mile is a little over 1,600 meters.
Okay.
Now you're gonna make me think. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Not at all. But anyway, he dropped the line down, and it only went down to 24 kilometers. Water bears. And the only reason he stopped at 24 kilometers is because that's what he had. So this hole was deeper than that even. And it said that it was beyond anything naturally occurring, because at that depth, the surrounding pressure would have just collapsed it. You know?
So he said 24 kilometers?
Yes.
This is roughly 15 miles deep.
Okay. So he checked this thing down to 15 miles. They would throw things in, and obviously they would disappear, right? Because it's 15 miles down. Now, keep this in mind. Did you ever hear of the portal to hell in Russia?
I think we've talked about that on another episode.
Yep.
Yes, I have. I have heard of it on a few. I mean, there's even a few. I think Mr. Ballman even talked about
that. Was only like 7 or 8 miles down.
Yeah.
So this is almost double, if not more than double. And what's freaky is not only would stuff just randomly disappear, like if you threw it in there, you never saw it again, of course. You never heard it hit bottom. But somebody threw dead pets in there, and then these dead pets, like Pet Cemetery, were seen a few days later walking around.
Count me out. All right, that's where I draw the line. Nope. So this was called what was this hole called?
Mel's Hole.
Mel's Hole.
It said it said that they dropped a bucket down as far as it would go, and they brought up something that looked like a deformed animal fetus that they claimed had special abilities. We'll put it that way.
Mhm.
I'll let you dig into more. Maybe we'll go into more of a deep dive of these, but
I was
that
reading a little
was
bit on it.
that was definitely one of the more interesting topics that he had. Now some people say they found it. Nobody can say definitively, yes, this was 100% found. This is Mel's hole, or if it even existed, because they say, believe it or not, now it's all right if you don't believe me, but that's the point of this, right?
Right.
People are claiming that Mel waters didn't exist.
Well, who would it be then?
Right. Some are saying that maybe it was an alias, so they wouldn't find out who he was and go to his property and ruin everything. Others say it could have been a witness protection thing, but they cannot find actual records of a Mel Waters in, I think it was Washington at that time. So who knows? Who knows? I do know one of my favorites, because this guy had the cojones that I know a younger me would have done the same thing if I had the ability. Mad Mike Markham. He was one of the first time traveler callers in there, and he said he built a time machine by accident in his house. You know what a Jacob's ladder is? It has
I do.
The two things, right? So he said he built a time machine using it because whatever his setup, it created a little hole, and he would send small things through it. And then a couple seconds later, boom, they would drop out. He realized he needed more power, Tim Allen kind of a thing. So he went to to a local power station, like a substation, and the equipment wasn't in use. He didn't take it off of the pole, but there were transformers sitting around that he borrowed, and ended up jacking this thing up to, well, pretty much full power. He was able to send things like his couch through and so on, but it got so big that he caused a blackout to the entire area. That's how he got caught, and that's how he got time in jail. Now, he did get out, got legal funding, and people actually bought him the equipment, investors, rented a big warehouse, like an airline hangar warehouse thing. And says he stepped through. So in 97, he claimed, he disappeared. He was gone in 1997.
He was gone, like gone?
Yeah. They said he said he was going to step through it, and then in 1997, this guy disappeared. He didn't show up again until 2015. Because he didn't. Nobody could track him down, and he finally he called back into Art Bell's show in 2015 after it was renamed, rebranded, and everything. And he said that he woke up about 2 or 3 years into the future, no memory of who he was. He was living in homeless shelters until he finally started remembering who he was, and then that's when he made the call into Art then. So yeah, it's all of his stuff is gone, obviously, because after missing for 2 years, people just dismantled everything.
I'm sure did they declare him legally dead?
That could be a possibility. Now, did the investors dismantle it, or did a governmental agency dismantle it? And they're hiding it somewhere. We don't know. We can't say for sure, but this is the story that we have.
So see, my plot to hybrids is not that implausible.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little. Yeah, no. When I read that, I'm like, yeah, no, this is entirely something that I could see happening, especially with CERN.
Well, yeah, CERN's enough. CERN's a whole nother show.
Yep.
See, this, like I said, I when we talked backstage, like I said, I didn't know a whole lot of. I mean, I knew who Art Bell was, obviously from the military and things like that, but being deployed and gone, a lot of majority of his his tenure on radio. I'm learning a lot of stuff today. So if I'm not like jumping in, please don't think that I'm learning. So these that's just some of the calls. Then I mean, I'm sure.
There's another one I have for you.
Sweet, let's do it.
Yeah. So one of my most horrifying experiences over the last couple of decades has been with a little movie called The Exorcist.
Truth.
Okay. Because I had a broken arm, broken legs, and I couldn't move. And I thought I was watching The Exorcist, and I thought I saw glowing eyes in my kitchen. Turns out it was a cat that snuck into my house.
Not truth.
Yeah. No. So I actually almost needed new underpants. I'm like, well, I'm just going to die today, you know? But the gentleman, Father Malachi Martin, is the inspiration for that movie, The Exorcist. And he called in often, and he would talk about exorcisms, faith, evil, the supernatural, all of his experiences that he had. He was actually a member of the Vatican Intelligence Network under Pope John the 23rd, it says. Now, this is where the Exorcist inspired part comes from, because he called in and he started talking about a case that he was going to be going on about a possessed child, right? Just like in The Exorcist.
Right.
It is believed that child killed him because he was standing at the top of stairs and some unseen force at that thing shoved him. And this guy tumbled down the stairs, broke his neck. He was done. He had a CIA agent with him that saw all this happen. Yeah, and it is firmly believed that's what happened. And the kid was 4, I think it was, as opposed to however old.
I believe she was in her young teens. If I remember right.
I didn't remember exactly.
Yeah, it was because Reagan was not the. It was a younger. Yeah, it was a 4 or 5 year old boy. You're right. I do recall, but even with that, even if you go and listen to the behind the scenes of making The Exorcist, of all the things that happened on set, and the unexplained occurrences that happened with making that. I that's something that I it's still today this day. The Exorcist is still the scariest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. And I stay away I watch it every year, even though it is still the scariest, but I don't dabble. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't dabble in that portion of.
I don't cotton to that kind of thing.
I don't cotton to that kind of thing unless I have to, I mean, obviously if we start doing more on the show, but I don't make it a habit of that. But I mean, let's go to Poltergeist too. The strange occurrences that happened after Poltergeist.
Yeah.
So, well, I did not know that he called into the show. I did. That's
he was a known caller. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there were a lot. There were a lot of different callers that came in, and again, if you're like me, and I didn't discover the guy until long after he passed, but if you did know of him before, what was your favorite thing about it? Like, what was your favorite moment that you can remember?
Like I said,
for anybody out there too. Yeah.
For anybody out there, like I said, for me, it was just knowing that the only one that I know of was the Area 51, other than knowing that he was part of the Air Force. It was the Area 51. That's the biggest one that brought a lot of the stuff to light. I mean, we'd always known Independence Day, the movie, brought Area 51 to light. There's been obviously we know the Roswell incident, but like this is one of the ones that where you have a majority of people listening. I mean, he's at the height of his radio career here. So I'd have to say that one because it's really the only one, which I'm going to do more deep dives into Art Bell, and once this is all done, hopefully they have some recordings and things like that. But
Oh yeah, his website has an archive.
it has all the archives. My parents had to listen to me doing the possess. No, see, no. Why? Why would you do something like that? So
I
yeah,
would
for
always-
me, yeah,
I would get
me-
Lou also ran through her house going red rum half the time too.
as long as you didn't crab walk backwards down the stairs, Lou, we're good. We're good. I can live with the scariness of the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would have to be the Area 51 because it's the only one I do know. Like I said,
Yeah.
at the height of his tenure. Like I said, I was gone most of the time, and we didn't get a whole lot of it. And then you just kind of things fade, or out of sight, out of mind type thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I was glad when you and them were talking about doing, or we were discussing what our next show would be. This was more of a learning experience for me, and just getting to do the research because, there's things I didn't even know, and to know that some of the things that just him alone inspired, and some of the pulp culture that we live with every day is kind of cool.
And normally I would do those CRoM fire lightning round question things as we go through this, but I held off on this one.
Of course, Lou. Thank you. Now, that's funny. That's awesome.
But I held that back on this one just because.
I'll go ahead and ask him.
Let's
see if we can get Lou to answer some of them. Ask him away. It's better to ask. I might be able to answer. I don't know. I saw a couple of the questions.
Let me see if I can go back to them here quick. Let's see. What made Coast to Coast special? We covered some of that, but
yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. What did modern media lose something when radio stopped feeling personal? This is a big one to me because we do this.
Well, absolutely. I think everything loses something when something new comes around. So I saw the question.
See, my thing is this. I think a lot of the quote unquote personalities start to feel impersonal, as if you should listen to us. As opposed to let's have a conversation together. Like we always talk to the audience when we can. This is a test of the emergency awesome system. But yeah, so when we went to video, sure, you could see who you're talking to, but so many of them now take it as a don't bother me, as in a just watch, as opposed to call in radio. In fact, I know we're not on it, but Rumble Studio has a feature where it has a telephone that people can call in. Now, if these things actually got that feature, it would be ideal.
I do. Yeah, it obviously loses something. You may not have been face to face, but listening and talking. So I still like, sometimes when I'm in the car or something, I'll listen to sports talk radio, because I still love the connection that these talk show hosts, the sports guys, give to their callers, and I think in a way that's still, because we've lost a lot of our radio. Now you get some of the YouTubers and streamers and podcasters, they do it, but sometimes not all times. Sometimes though, I feel like the podcaster feels like they're doing that person a service instead of the person coming on doing them a service.
Right.
Like, you're lucky to be on my talk show.
Mm-hmm.
I think we lost a little bit, and don't get, we lost a little bit of it with the daytime talk shows when we went to, I love Jerry Springer. I thought it was a great show, but when we started going to Shock and Awe, we lost it. When you actually had like Donahue and people like that, where they were actually talking about things that were going on in their daily lives. Even Maury moved. Maury got more responses and more money and more backers and advertisers when he was just doing Who's the Baby Daddy. You lose.
Yeah.
That's not personal. That's your. I get shock. I do get shock and all. You guys can laugh at me all you want. I like Dr. Phil for a lot of the times because whether he's a charlatan or not is neither here nor there. But he actually at least sat down and talked to him and made things personal. And some of the times you don't get that anymore. Even with streaming, unless it's on unless it's like that topic, you'll get some of the streamers that just pull a panel together so they can talk smack about somebody. That's sometimes it's okay because if it's talking smack about something I want to talk smack about, I kid. I joke. But yeah, I think to go the long way around here, yeah, we lose something personal. I think media changed when it went from being personal to shock and awe.
Yeah.
Because if that makes sense to anybody out there listening in Radio Land or TV Land or whatever.
One of the other questions, which I think dovetails into what you're talking about here, is: do you think anybody could become that style of the Art Bell thing today? Now, I originally would say this guy. If you've never watched it, check it out. It's one of my favorites. But where Art would allow you to call in and chat with them, I've tried contacting this guy even when it was brand new, and I couldn't seem to get him to respond. Now, maybe it's because we're not big enough yet. Because, he has a couple million on subscribers, and we have 7 people watching. So maybe when we get bigger, we can reach out to people like this. But do you think somebody could be today that Art Bell style figure?
I think listen, Mr. Ballin, I think could do it. I think because he's gone and done. He went, Mr. Ballin. If you guys, he's the strange, dark, and mysterious type guy. He takes stories and takes headlines of things that happen and turns them into story form, a long story form.
Nice.
And I think Mr. Ballin could definitely do that. And the reason I say that, because he's done, he's gone into auditoriums where he's done things with the crowds in the auditoriums. I think Matt Rife, just not comedic, but he's doing audience interaction things. So I think he could. Y-Files definitely. You've shown quite a few of the I think you've shown quite a few of the Y-Files on our episodes, and yeah. So yeah, there's people. I think there's a lot of people that could do it. I do. I guess it just depends on where the lightning strikes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of smaller channels I'd love to get on here to chat with us. And maybe I'll do the reach out to them once life calms down a hair. Then we'll see if we can't get other guests on here too. Especially now that we're at a reasonable time.
Yeah, we're at a reasonable. I think sometimes it's just, again, it goes back to some of the things that we've talked about on Dash of Reading or the Creator's Corner. It's depending. We live in a TLD DR world. Too long didn't read, and if it's not a 30-second TikTok clip, some of these people are not going to pay attention. And I don't think you learn anything. It's another discussion that my wife and I were having. We don't, getting our girls to go outside and play, when we're playing with the video games or we have screen time. And when we tell them it's time to get off, and they're like, oh, I'm bored now. But when we tell them to go outside and go and do things and have fun outside for a while, you never hear the word "I'm bored."
Yep.
And I think it sounds backwards. I know it does. If you're getting bored you're getting bored. It's because you've trained your attention span to not be long. You've trained your attention span to look And so I think you lose personability. You lose personability with a 30-second clip. Going back and we whether it will happen or not, I think we have to go back to actually being personable and doing the face to face. You know, you live in Pennsylvania, I live in Oklahoma, and but face to face, you know, I think we've become way better friends and knowing each other through this than we did just talking on Facebook when we first did.
Yep.
Texting and Facebook, you know, so we have the face to face. We know what we know each other's mannerisms now. We know when something gets us and you're like you tell me something really cool and my body goes ah. So I think we lose personability, and that goes back. That gets back to the. I was bored. I can't remember the last time I was bored.
So I always tell my kids, if you're bored, I have ditches that I'm sure I can.
Yeah, I have holes you can fill. I have. You can run around the house 36 times. That'll get you not bored. No, but to get us back into off my tangent here. Yes, there's people that we could listen to and bring us in, and because again, I think these topics are interesting. It goes back to something Lou said earlier about the uniqueness. I like that the uniqueness of what we do with the show and talk about things that people might push away because I don't want to say uncomfortable, but as G.I. Joe says, knowing is half the battle. So I think sometimes we don't want to know because we don't want to lose or we're given to our fears or things like that. Does that make sense? Am I just rambling?
No. And I don't know if it comes from my hunting background, like the hunting camp stuff or even fishing, but before and after sitting around telling the stories, doing things like this, that's kind of what made it. The actual hunt and stuff in the middle of it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but you spend more time sometimes just maybe you wish it rains that day so you guys can just hang out.
You called it campfire stories.
Yeah.
And yes, exactly. Like to take it back, like and I saw something yesterday that struck me funny, and it was a military meme, and it was a guy said to the pastor, he goes, hey Padre, I didn't know you smoked, and he goes, and he's by the smoke pit, and he goes, that's the only way I can get the guys to talk to me.
Nice.
And I thought that is really true. Like you're at a place where everybody, you know, not that I'm a smoker or anything, but you're at a place where you feel comfortable, and your shields are down because you're smoking your cigarette. You're feeling good if you smoke, I'm sure. And so I that's the campfire. That's the us sitting around even behind, and when the show's over and we're backstage, or even before the show backstage, we're at our least vulnerable, and we can open up and talk about things. And that's what I hope. Hey, that's what I kind of want to, you know, I know that's your vision for the people to talk to us. And so, yes, I want it to rain so we can sit around and talk these stories, because you learn. There's things I've learned from you and them just sitting on the show that I never would have imagined. And
shout out to the homie Nem for
shout out to Nem.
We can't be here because he's not feeling so well, but
we love you.
We're always thinking about you.
So yeah, not to get us too far again off a tangent.
But speaking of getting off, that's what she said. We must unfortunately end this on a more somber note because he has since passed, as we said. I'm not sure if you know why, but it was an overdose of legally prescribed medication. He was pretty sick at the end, and I'm not sure what, how or anything, but yeah, he had medications, took an overdose, and has since passed. But he is, buried next to his wife. Poor guy. and yeah, that was only in 2018, which again, to those that were just born not too long ago, that seems like forever, but it was only what 8 years ago.
Yeah,
You know?
that was not too long. That now I can say that was not too long ago.
Yeah, and you can go visit if you want. If you're near Pahrump, Nevada, you can go visit, pay respect, say hi. If you're rude, I'll find you.
Wow.
Yeah, that I even if it was somebody I didn't really care for, I can't stand if somebody does that kind of thing.
Right.
I don't know how to put it politely without us getting kicked off of every channel we have. But yeah, and unfortunately we lost that voice in the night that sat with us and talked to us about these kind of things, and I hope we can give you something a little bit like that.
Yep. We want to bring sunshine to your rainy day.
Mm-hmm. Who can bring the sunshine?
Oh, Lou, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, and unfortunately that is that time. Anything else before we head out?
Is it our time already? Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know I'm a jerk.
No, you're not a jerk. These shows go way too fast.
Yeah.
I
What do you think?
mean, I really wish I hope we get somebody, and I don't want Art Bell. I want a different person that does a different thing. We already had Art Bell. Don't emulate Art Bell. Be the next, or be the
trying.
Yeah. Do not try. But like I said, I think there's people out there, and I hope that we can. And again, whether you believe or not, that's the. Whether you believe or not, that is beside the point. I know what Chris's goal was for this show, and I know what my goal is to learn. I think Chris's view was to put the information out there and make it interesting, which he does every time we talk about it. We've had some great past shows. If you, I think they're all on the YouTube channel.
Yeah,
go check out our past shows. We've had some interesting talks, and I think that's what I want to. I love that we get to do this, and break down really cool things that I might not have known about.
Yeah. So what are you thinking for the next time?
Oh man, we've got how many things have we?
Also, please check your messages real quick if you can.
Yeah.
Not trying to be a jerk by any means.
Oh, merciful Minerva. I think we could go to. I don't know. We've done a lot.
We've done a lot. I mean, I have tons in the pipe. We can do. But I just wanted to see if you had any that you.
I would like to go. I would like to do multiple the multiple Earth.
Okay.
I've written about it, so I want to dive more into that a little bit. Again, these are all like part ones in however many parts. Yeah, many parts that we will probably do, because I know there's a lot we want to revisit, because an hour sometimes doesn't feel like long enough. So let's do multiple Earths, the multiple Earth theory, and then we'll go from there. You've picked some great ones the last couple weeks, and I love this Art Bell one. We did a great one 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I had to do it because of the it was his birthday this week, and then
Art Bell is great. We've done some great shows the last couple weeks. There's Dustin.
How's it going?
Who is this Dustin guy we're seeing here? Who is that man behind the cowboy hat?
No.
So let's do that one next week or in 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
Dustin just came in to say howdy, y'all.
Indeed.
I did. All right.
I saw a picture I saw a picture of you without your damn hat, and it's. I guess I'm accustomed. No, it's not unsettling. It's just I'm so accustomed to the hat, and it's
like this one.
Yeah, it's just
Right.
like when Chris doesn't wear the newsy cap, I'm like, what's going on here? So when I see you without a hat, I'm like, is that Dustin?
Yeah, I hear you. I feel that way too.
Yeah.
Well, it's your. Don't take this the wrong way. It's your character. It's you.
Mm.
It's what I've grown accustomed to. You know, you don't see Superman without a cape, or you don't see, you know, things like that. You just grow accustomed. You don't see Chris
Yep.
without the newsy, and when you do,
That's
you're
right.
like, things are getting intense.
I'm in my Clark Kent mode now. Darn
You are
it.
in your Clark Kent mode. Like you have when you have the newsy on, it's the there you go. Now I feel Superman is here with us. So yeah, great show, Chris. Man,
Yeah,
thanks,
I thought we
Lou. Again, thanks,
I
Lou.
had fun.
Yeah, definitely had fun.
Yeah, sorry I had to call you in, Dustin. I feel bad about it.
No, it's all good.
Lou says this was interesting and unexpected. Exactly.
Yeah, we used to do these on Friday nights around 11 o'clock at night, but it was just too late then. We didn't get a lot of people watching, and I think moving it to earlier is going to give more people access to it. And hey, we still have them all up there that you can go and watch. You get caught up on the back ones, and I guess we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you
Adios.
later.